Hey everyone, you're listening to an episode of the Artist Corner featuring our Artist of the Month. We hope you enjoy this Black Ops Toy Story show available on YouTube and YouTube Podcast. All right, here we go.
Everyone, this is another episode of Artist of the Month. So we have Paul Morgutia with us, and you have got some great work. You're on Instagram as small arms underscore custom, and we just love your work. So if you could start off by telling us, what got you interested in the action figure world and kit bashing, and how did that start for you?
To be honest, it's a little weird. I don't understand or remember when I got into it, but I think it was started when I was a kid when McFarlane was releasing their old 2010 Halo line figures of their 6 inches.
Yes.
I was really big into it, and then they started releasing the Halo Reach collection. They came with removable parts, and you could change the torso, you could change the shoulder pauldrons, you could remove the helmet. And I used to try to paint them. I don't have any photos from them, but even if I did, I wouldn't show you. They're extremely butchered. And I think around 2019, I discovered the Black Ops Toys store, and from there, I started modifying figures myself. Started getting into the 1/6 scale, and I actually have one here. It's on my Instagram. It's loosely based off a random operator I seen on Instagram.
Oh, I love
And
it.
just call him
Killer.
caveman. I call him caveman just mainly because he has that operator beard. Sorry, my light is pretty bad right now.
No,
but
you're good.
It was mostly
I
just
love it.
seeing off what other people can make, especially on Instagram. I would see random posts, and they'd be amazing. I couldn't tell if they're doing hand brush or airbrush technique, and that's what
Right.
really got me into it. That also,
That's cool.
the Black Ops Toy Store as well.
That's
The
awesome,
easy-
man.
The easy and simple line is absolutely my favorite, especially their base bodies. They're the most articulated.
Yes, I love the new ENS body, and there's more changes coming. So we're taking customer input, and we're gonna be updating as we go along. So there's some good stuff coming.
I cannot wait. They're perfect.
Well,
Very cool.
that is so exciting, and I'm glad that Black Ops Toys has been there with you as you've been learning and going through all of this. So walk us through your creative process a little bit. I know on your Instagram you've got a lot of like Halo figures, which are incredible and really
Thank you.
awesome. So when you're designing and kind of starting a new custom figure, how does that look for you?
So it goes both ways. I either try drawing it out or writing it down on what I want, or I would
Mhm.
literally modify it in the video game and
Yeah.
see if I can replicate it from there. And there goes one now.
Shelf dive.
Yeah, I didn't bring any stands with me, tragically. So I would go based off of the game, and from there I would play with the colors,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would take real world applications, and I'll see, all right, if it's going to be in a desert environment, I'm going to have to paint the boots or get an airbrush technique where the mud goes up from the boot to the shin to the knee pads, and same thing for the elbow guards. It's a lot kind of goes into it, but playing with colors is probably my favorite part.
That's awesome. So you do a lot of paint work. I noticed that a lot of your Halo figures. So the ones I'm looking at, did you 3D design and print those items
I
for
actually
those bodies?
I actually outsourced to a buddy of
Uh-huh.
mine. His name is Tyler Miner from Hot as Fuzz Customs. I
Yeah.
outsource for his parts, and he 3D prints me whatever I need. Good pricing, good friend as well.
That's awesome.
He's actually the one who helped me with my more recent 1/12 scale Halo figures, the ones I try to go for more the realistic look. With
That's a
the
good looking
A-tags.
figure.
Thank you. As for the
Really good
paint,
looking figure.
I had to mix 3 different Tamiya paints just to get the right kind of gray that I was really hoping to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually currently have with me here another work in progress. I'm yet to share it, but I'm happy to share it here.
Yes, give us
Based off another Halo Reach figure for a commission
Oh,
for a
that's good
friend.
looking.
Oh, wow.
Sniper.
Exactly. So it's a Halo Reach Recon. It just has a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
And the
For
one thing
sure.
I do about customizing figures, because in Halo they have a magnetic back, so I was like,
Mhm.
all right, perfect. I can play with magnets now.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
awesome, right? Yeah. Magnets, especially for any type of figure that has armor pieces like that, are going to be the way of the future, I think.
Almost definitely are. And they're easier than dealing with just super glue or
Oh,
dealing with pegs.
100%.
You have to 3D print, get the mold, and make sure the peg fits, and it's a hassle.
There's a lot involved, and if you know somebody who does something really well, and you can utilize those, the people that create the stuff that you like, that's really really cool.
Almost definitely, and I really do appreciate those who assist me and help me with getting everything I need, especially Black Ops Customs.
That's rad, man. I see you do a lot of other figures as well. A lot of futuristic. Is that futuristic, military-esque? Do you guys do anything that's different besides that genre?
Currently, right now, I'm just stuck in the whole Halo genre, but I am
Sure.
thinking about moving out towards something more realistic, more futuresque, or
Yeah.
combining like Halo with more modern times. And we'll run a helmet, but the helmet's gonna be running with different type of nods or
Yep.
a strobe on the helmet or an ATAX on the chest rig. So something around there. Keep
Lots of
it.
cool, unique pieces. Yeah.
Sorry, I have my cat here trying to join.
No worries.
Don't be
Everybody's got a cat.
don't be sorry. The kitty can join. Well, so we've heard a little bit about, you love the color process of it all. You've got a great friend who helps you with those 3D printed pieces. What are your other like favorite tools or materials that you work with when you're creating these custom figures, either for yourself or for others?
Dremel kits. They or scalpels. They save me, especially if I'm trying to do a bit of a battle damage rounds hitting armor. I have to
Yeah.
Dremel in, but to be very careful because 3D resin prints are super thin, and
Super thin.
the wrong amount of pressure application will snap it in half. Or if you're not careful like me, you poke yourself in the hand.
Out.
Many times. Many times.
It doesn't feel good, and it's a bad
No.
excuse to tell somebody like, "Hey,
Right.
how'd you get that cool scar?" Oh, I stabbed myself with a Dremel kit.
That's right. Yeah, we tell people who are brand new to wait a little bit until they have some practice before they go into the Dremel. But
Oh, of course.
Dremel's a great tool to use for sure.
The same
For
thing
sure.
with airbrushes. You have to really just practice and know what you're doing, especially color mixing. If the color mixing goes wrong while inside the container for the airbrush, it makes an ugly color.
Yeah, absolutely can for sure.
Yeah, we don't want an ugly color on our Halo figure. So, could you give us like the behind the scenes of a like particularly challenging figure that you've had to do, either for yourself or for somebody else, and how did you overcome kind of that maybe frustrating struggle?
It would have to be the gray Spartan I just showed you, the black one. Getting the parts together and really trying to figure out the dimensions so I could send it out to someone to get them custom made, especially around the articulated arm, like the bicep and the
Hmm.
tricep. It's since the butterfly joint on the elbow, it's different how it can fully extend. The arm pieces would sometimes hit
Mm,
each other.
yeah.
Hmm.
Kind of hard to explain. I don't know the proper word.
It's engineering. Yeah, for sure.
Same thing goes for the crotch plate with the thigh
Hmm.
pads. Raising the leg too high, it'll
Mm,
cause a lot of grinding and paint will come off or it would snap the resin. That's why
Yep.
I'd have to go for a lot of spacing in between. It doesn't look that real, but sometimes.
I think it looks very good. I
Thank
mean,
you.
really, it does. Yeah. As far as Halo figures go, in this particular scale, the only thing that's close to this is going to be the like the ones from 3.0 or 3A
ZRT as
that they
well.
released.
They're really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also
This
hard is the firearms as well. Trying to
Oh
match
yeah.
the Black Ops Toys optics onto a custom railing, and
mm.
it gets very tedious trying to get the measurements out, especially when you have to measure the actual pick rail that goes onto the optics. It's not easy because it's very
Nope.
small, like 0.2, 0.3 millimeter.
Oof, that is very, very small. Yes. So you are open for commissions,
Always.
how do people reach you? Just like your Instagram, or is there a better way?
It's just Instagram right now. I have no Instagram and email. That's all I really have right now.
Okay. And do you have a wait, or is it, like not as long of a wait for you right now?
Turnaround time is for printing would be about 2 to 4 weeks. Then the painting
Hmm.
process, so I don't stress myself out. I can't pump it out as fast as I like to. Will be
Sure.
about 2 to 3 weeks for a painting process. I would
Okay.
usually just start with the helmet on its own. I would do the cod piece and the chest together, the forearms and the different days. Same thing with the legs, the knee pads, and the feet. Just do it all separately. Then when I have it all together, put it all together, snap photos, and ship it out.
Wow.
Awesome.
So when you do a commission, you actually do it from beginning to end, like the whole deal, put it together,
Exactly.
paint it, send it off as a finished product.
Unless they want the parts on their own, they can do it themselves. But I prefer to
Very
do the
cool.
painting myself.
Sure. It's a good looking set. How much does one of these sets go for if somebody wanted to order one?
So for the armor itself, it's custom to the, I think it's the Type A easy and simple body base.
Mm-hmm.
So for the armor, we'll be running about 220, 250, not including accessories or helmet. Helmets on their own will be probably about 15 to 30. Weapons is where the prices starts getting up there because,
Yes.
yeah, I get it. You can start printing the smaller 2-3 inch rifles, but once the rifle starts exceeding more than 6 inches, it's going to require more resin, not just on the outside for the attachments, but also on the inside to make it heavier so it doesn't snap if it falls.
Or bend. Yeah.
Exactly. Because with resin, especially in the weapon has a long barrel, it begins to
warp.
I had that issue with there was a Fallout New Vegas sniper that had got the PGM2. The barrel is well over 6 inches and it warps down, and there's really no fixing that.
Yeah, we've for stuff that we had to do that was a little bit longer, what we would do is do it in 2 or 3 different pieces and then put the pieces together. Yeah, that allows us to print short stuff versus the long stuff, but make the same thing.
And then weather plays a big factor on that as well. If it's hot or it's too cold.
It does.
That's silly 3D resin. Just very temperamental, it sounds like.
Oh, most definitely. Especially when it's fresh. It has to sit for a very, very long time.
Interesting.
Sure.
It's such a great tool, but yeah, there are definitely a lot of things it sounds like you've got to take into consideration for it.
A lot of applications for 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And AI.
That too, but that's another story.
I watched too much Terminator for AI.
So Paul, if you were looking, you were looking back on your journey, your experience that you've gained throughout the years that you've been doing this, what advice would you give to someone just starting out in this hobby and this field who's wanting to customize things but isn't quite sure if they want to take that leap?
Plan it out. You have to have a plan. You can't just jump into this, because I started just jumping into it, no plan, and it was incredibly butchered. Time and patience are a big one as well, especially when you're printing. The printing process for one piece can take 45 to 3 hours just to print one piece. It doesn't matter if it's a helmet, a small little piece. If there's a lot of dimensions, a lot of jagged edges, it's going to take time.
Yeah. And
for patience with painting as well, because if you don't know what you're doing with the paintbrush or with the airbrush, you will easily manipulate something that's going really wrong.
No.
Patience is one of the biggest ones.
I am not a patient person. That's
Yeah,
always been a struggle for me. Good advice, though.
I'm looking at the on your Instagram right now, and you have one looks like a 1/6 scale figure with a Halo helmet that's 3D printed, and then he has a battle rifle.
Oh yes, so that's actually the caveman. He was my base. He was my base figure for the Spartan in the beginning, because I was trying to get the helmet properly fitted onto the body, trying to make sure if this is the way the body's going to look, and make sure the head fits properly. Then I have to make sure the battle rifle is properly scaled. And thankfully, I have friends who are very well at scaling, and you can tell the big differences now compared to height and weight. And I'm really happy with the way it came out. It's
very, very good looking figure. I was very impressed. Really impressed.
Not many people are too happy about the realistic gear I put on, the ATACs, the retention swivel, or the belt. I just think it adds a bit of realism that it kind of needed.
Adds some flavor, and it adds some cloth parts.
Exactly. I mean, I get it. The helmet is a one size do all, but come on, the ATACs is really cool.
It is cool, man. Yeah, man.
So when you were getting started and, figuring out painting and like all these different strategies and, learning, what were like the resources you used to kind of get better, or was it just like all trial and error?
A lot of it was trial and error. What I would do is I'd buy a bunch of random miscellaneous 1/12 or 1/6 scale parts, or I would resource to somebody else and I'll play with it. I would look on photos online, especially concept art. I would look at a lot of Halo concept art, and you would notice they're full of gadgets, full of equipment, full of things you don't see in the game, you know, bandoliers or helmet attachments. Like, all right, what if I try to implement that onto the figure? I get it, it won't
Mhm.
work in the game with the clipping. Would it make sense? So I thought, all right, I would kind of incorporate a concept art type idea onto the figures, give them something, you know, people haven't really seen.
Fantastic way to do it too. Take something that exists that's really popular and then make it better.
Precisely.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
a good way of putting it.
That's a
Yeah.
great way of putting it. You're like, in fact, that is exactly what I do. I just make this great thing already that make it so much better.
I mean, you look at today's special forces, Green Beret, or their what they call CAG, then you compare it to the Spartan. All right, they have this crazy armor. It does almost everything, but the
Hmm.
helmet really can't provide all. The HUD can't do everything. So you're gonna have to resource the equipment.
Right.
Where do the spare mags go? They just can't come out
Yeah.
of thin
Right.
air. So I thought, or implement spare mags. So about the grenades, either put a dump pouch and pull the grenades out. Well, where does the spare pistol mags go? So I have to include a retention belt on the
Right.
waist, and a lot of it just goes into it. It kind of looks packed up, but then again, when you look at operators today, they look packed up as well. It
Yeah.
only makes
Yep.
sense. They go into the
Yep.
field for hours at a time. They're running. I think the standard carry load is 330 rounds. Where does all
Hmm.
that ammo go?
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Make it have a real world application and make it make sense.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to go for with the Gray Spartan. Like he's going to be on. I get it. That suit's probably powered by a damn nuclear submarine engine. So got to put a
It's a
little
good
bit of
looking
realism.
figure.
Thank you. I really
When,
do appreciate it.
when are you going to post pictures of that so people can see it?
The white one.
Yeah.
When I finish with the knee pads and the knees, I'm currently. I had to order new pegs for the feet. The last ones I did make, they weren't properly articulated and they did not fit the peg of the foot. So
Hmm.
maybe 2-3 weeks once it's all said and done, post it, get a really cool snapshot of it doing something when it's not raining.
Yes.
Yeah.
When it's not raining inside. We don't want that.
Oh, I do a lot of outdoor photography with the figures. People
Oh,
do
That's the
stare.
best.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your last
Super
one,
cool.
your last post was one of the figures like in some like outside
Shrubbery.
and shrubbery tree. I'm not sure what it was, but it was awesome looking. Very cool.
Good
It was
looking.
my
Yeah.
backyard next to a pair of sprinklers. I had a photo edit out of the picture.
There you go, man.
There you go. You made it work.
Oh, precisely. It looked perfect. It looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It looks great.
7-foot soldier
Really
turned
cool.
13 inches.
Right on, man.
So as you kind of look back at where the industry was and where, the community was when you started and now, what do you see as like the future of kit bashing, of creating your own figures? And, how do you hope to continue to contribute to this community?
What I do see a lot of is people pumping out great figures, especially with the 3D printing. 3D printing has really, really alternated and changed the figures how they are today. I mean,
The whole industry.
yeah, most definitely. You see custom figures, people on Instagram, they make these wild figures that are not even in the games. Some are completely
Yep.
based off their own design or based off completely just something they've seen in real life. And I
Hmm.
think the way I can contribute to that is, keep doing what I'm doing. Keep making
Hmm.
them how they are. I have my own individual taste. Everyone else has their own individual style.
Yep.
And I appreciate it all. And I don't want only so many people to be doing custom figures. I want everyone to be doing it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we're all individual, we're all unique. We all have our own art style. I like the 13 inches, 112 scales. And I like them a certain way. And I know everyone does too.
Yep. For sure.
Yeah.
Especially the
For
battle
sure.
damage, the dirt damage. I try my hardest to get all of it in there.
If you get these big enough and people and a big enough audience, what we've seen before is people from the video game industry will come over to the concept art to make future characters for their games.
That would be
So,
awesome.
yeah, super, super cool.
What I am trying to do right now, which is incredibly hard to play with, is multicam. It's a very hard print to
Ooh.
mimic. I've tried it in the past with hand brushes. It came out decent, but I want to try to get it perfect. And OCP
It's
is not
hard.
an easy color to copy.
It's hard to do a camouflage paint. I mean, to do camouflage paint, and especially small detail.
In
on
OCP,
pieces
their
that-
base colors are either sand or it's a type of like a light green. It's not. It's never really the same. It's always different. I guess that's the point of it, to break up patterns.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How you break
You could
up.
do a multicam uniform and then put the armor over it.
That would work. I have thought
would
about
pop,
that, but then
yeah.
I would have to manipulate the body armor because the extra girth, I guess you would call it, they puts
Mhm.
onto the figure with the uniform.
Yeah.
But I have played with that concept many a times, like I did with my current figure, the caveman, for
Yeah.
like a test figure for the Spartan.
Lots of cool directions to go. Yeah. Options are limitless.
Almost definitely.
Well, I have just one last question for you before we get to our like rapid fire questions, and I feel like I already know the answer to this question too. Just
Ask it anyway.
Just based on the great figures that you do. But if you could be any action figure, Paul, which one would you want to be?
Well, the gray one, the big Spartan.
Yeah.
He has everything. He's perfect, and well, my favorite. I put the most love into that one.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes it special, right?
For
I
sure.
originally
Yeah.
based it off my first character in Halo Reach with the Mark 6 helmet and the Mark 5 armor. But
Yeah.
when I completed it, I wasn't happy. It's missing something.
Yep.
It has to look custom.
Yep.
So I started adding all the equipment I could.
I
So
love it.
cool.
It is very cool.
Thank you.
Well, I've got some fun questions for you. And just want you to like give us the first answer that comes into your head just to help everybody get to know you a little bit more. What is your favorite movie?
1987's Predator. A bunch
Cool.
of bodybuilders fighting an alien. That's probably the coolest thing ever. You know, dripped out in old school, what is it, 1980s Green Beret equipment.
Yep.
The coolest thing ever.
love it.
Arnold, so good.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
What is your favorite holiday?
Christmas. It's not because of gifts or anything. I just like the cold weather.
Oh, yes.
Oh, the cold weather.
As cold as California lets it get, at least.
Right?
That's true.
You have no idea what cold weather is. Yeah.
For Californians, that's cold. That's cold.
Yeah.
Deadpool or Wolverine?
Well, that's a hard one. I like Wolverine
Ah.
because the claws and he heals, and he's been through every major battle, major history buff with wars. I'd probably choose Deadpool for all the tactical
Weapons.
equipment. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, his favorite sidearm is the Desert Eagle. It's come on. It's the hand
That's a
cannon.
big gun. Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
What did you want to be when you grew up?
I actually always wanted to be a cop. I always want to be a highway patrol officer, and currently I am doing the background checks for them right now.
Good.
That's awesome.
Very, very cool.
From 2017 to 2019, I served in the Army. I was part of the
Good.
101st Airborne 328th Field Artillery.
Thank you for your service.
Yes,
Thank you. It was different. It was a culture shock.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I do know what cold is because Oklahoma in the winter sucks.
There you go. There you go.
sleeping in a little bag next to like six
That
other
bad.
guys, it's
Uh-uh.
not fun.
Oh.
Well,
But right now, currently in the process of becoming a highway patrol officer, it's something I always wanted. I don't know
It's chips. The days of chips.
exactly. Just the uniforms are nice too. Very
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome. That's
Better.
exciting.
And I get a Dodge Charger. Come on.
Yeah,
I
man.
want one.
Can't go wrong with that.
No.
Well, on the other side of that, like what profession or job would you never want to do?
Whew, man, probably sitting behind a desk all day, like a desk job.
This job.
I even though I do understand police work is a lot of paperwork,
Paperwork.
desk
Yeah.
job, but sitting behind a desk all day just I don't know, I think my ass would just completely fall off.
It goes numb.
It might. It just might.
I'm not afraid of hard work, I'm just afraid of deteriorating.
Boredom.
Deteriorating.
that too.
Yes, yes. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox since I was a little kid.
There you
First
go.
game was Halo, so see
Yeah.
how far that got me.
Yes. Look at it. Look at you now. If you were a menu item at a restaurant, what would your entree be called?
Whew,
I know.
I have no idea.
So funny.
I never thought about that before.
Right?
It would definitely be
question.
A big steak platter.
Oh yeah.
Nice steak platter. That's
Probably mashed
awesome.
potatoes, asparagus.
Oh yeah.
Or
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts, whichever one makes your breath smell not as bad.
I don't know. Maybe both do. Maybe asparagus. What is your favorite curse word?
I think everybody's, it's fuck.
Yeah.
It has application.
Thank
to
you for your
everything.
honesty.
Oh, of course, it can be used in any sense. When something's great, something's bad,
Yeah.
you just
An
say it
adjective.
plainly. Exactly. You mold it to whatever you want.
There you
There you go.
Do you have a zombie apocalypse escape plan?
No, I do not, but stack up bullets, stack up water, and learn how to hunt.
There you go.
There you go.
And then our last one, sum up what you do in 3 words.
Eat, sleep, lift.
There you go.
I would have
Well,
put paint in there, but painting only comes so often.
yeah.
There you go.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for letting us pick your brain, for joining us and sharing your work with us. And I'm super excited for everything else that you're going to accomplish, and hopefully more people find out about you and reach out about getting some custom figures.
Of course. Thank you for inviting me. I really do appreciate this. Thank you, Black Ops Toys, for the best figures ever.